So in this week's Torah portion, Emor, to say, there's a bit at the end of the Torah portion that seems slightly out of context. We read about the restrictions upon the priests, the Kohanim, the sacrificial work, restrictions there, and then we read about the Jewish calendar, right, the different holidays that we get away from work, and then at the end we have a bit that seems almost as if it's straight out of Monty Python. In fact, I'm pretty sure Monty Python was inspired by this bit. Remember the scene in Life of Brian where, "Blasphemer! He said Jehovah! Stone him!" Right? Who doesn't remember that epic scene? Well, that's what happens in this week's Torah portion. Completely out of context, the middle of nowhere, we have a guy who's a crossbreed. Mother's Jewish, father was Egyptian, and he's getting into a fight with another Jew in the camp. And in the middle of this heated argument, the crossbreed curses God. Silence. No one knows what to do, right? We've been given the Ten Commandments, we've been given, the Torah, but no one knows what the heck you're supposed to do when someone curses God. What's the conclusion? What does God say? Stone him. Why stone him? Stone him! Wouldn't it have made more sense to bring atonement, right? Bring a sacrifice. Say you're sorry. It's not a person who you hurt his feelings. It's God. He'll get over it. What's going on here? There's something very interesting that happens in Parashat Emor. Throughout all the different subjects we talk about and we read, there is a key phrase that always repeats itself, almost out of context, as if it's creating the words of a song. And those words are, Ani Hashem, I am God. At times it appears as Ani Hashem, I am God. At times it appears as Ki Ani Hashem Ekadshechem. So you read about Sfirat Omer, why you need to count the Omer. Ani Hashem. You read about Shavuot, or you read about restrictions of the priests. Ani Hashem. This Ani Hashem, supposedly out of context, it's almost as if when we're reading this, a trance is being created. Something is happening when we read the text. It reminds me of the first Jewish, the mystical book in Judaism, the book of Formation, Sefer Yetzirah. Only 1,800 words, cryptic words, no one knows what they mean, but there is one thing that anyone would understand when they read this text. Every few words, after every passage, you read the same phrase, Eser Sfirot Blima, Eser Sfirot Blima, Eser Sfirot Blima, the 10 Sfirot upon which the world is founded. And there's a trance that is happening while you're reading this. Something is meant to change, something is meant to happen. And it, by the way, is very much like Genesis. The beginning, right? It's not enough that God has to describe He created every day. At the end of every day, we hear Vayerev Vayboker Yom Sheni. He describes the second day. Vayerev Vayboker Yom Shlishi. There's a trance. That ending, Ani Hashem, Vayerev Vayboker, are what are creating. They are the trance that is making things happen. So what has this guy done? This guy's had a hard life because he's a crossbreed. He will always be the guy whose mum was with a jippo. However, in the moment of heated, this quarrel, he does something which is a mistake. He curses God. What is the problem? If you ask me, the only way I can understand it and connect it to the name of the parsha, Emor, to say, is that when you curse God, and if God's name is the foundation of this world, then you are tainting God's name. You are then tainting this world, and the world is changing for worse. Now you could say to me, how dare you say that? God is all-powerful. Well, I'll tell you, there's only one way I can get away with it, and that is if you believe that there is a godly part inside of you. If there is a godly part in each one of us, then we also have power. And if that is true, then I think what Emor teaches us to say is what we say about God. God is what we say of Him. God is what we make of Him. Shabbat Shalom.